me about The Sound of Hope, Possum Trot, which is already kind of a terrible title for a movie. Tell me about this little indie film.
Okay, so this is from Angel Studios. This is the next chapter of Sound of Freedom, and we have Sound of Hope. So it's from the studio. It's not from the same makers. Story of Reverend Martin and his wife Donna Martin. They live in Possum Trot, Texas, and they're just a typical pastor and wife with 2 kids. One of them, I believe, is autistic, and the Lord gives a vision to Donna saying that they need to have more children, and they can't have more children, so they look into adoption. And while going through the adoption process, they realize that there's a huge need of foster parents. A lot of kids who are in the foster system, a lot of them are, the way they described it is like 25% of kids in the foster care system is just basically a victim of poverty. And all the parents need is kind of a leg up to get their kids back into their homes. 75%, though, are in dire situations, abusive parents, missing parents, whatever. So the Martins decide that they're going to start foster care, foster adoption. They start with 2 kids. 2 kids turn into 3, and 3 turns into 5. And the whole movie is basically their adventure in the foster care system. So much so that the Martins, they encouraged their entire church to foster children within the area of Possum Trot here. And there's one girl who's brought to. They decide that they're going to take the worst girl, the worst child, the worst case, and she's a girl who's gone through severe abuse. She thinks she's a cat, and this girl becomes this big problem in terms of trying to reach her, trying to connect with her, and a lot of the movie is about that connection, trying to kind of redeem this girl. And so that's what Sound of Hope is. It's the idea that there are kids who are in the foster system who don't feel like they have hope, and a family and a church and a community that is willing to give these kids hope. And not to spoil the ending, but so many parents start foster parenting kids that Possum Trot, the 100-mile radius, they ran out of kids in the foster system. They tried to foster more, and there just weren't any because they're all taken care of. So that's this movie. It's the reason we're talking about today is on Juneteenth, next Thursday, Angel Studios is doing a preview of Sound of Hope.
So how does it compare to Sound of Freedom, or is it just because Angel Studios put it out? Or
it's they're pretty. They're 2 distinct movies, but I think it's the Sound of Hope versus the Sound of Freedom. I think they're trying to create a theme,
a brand,
so to speak.
I like to say your description does not make me want to see it.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. Am I going to be depressed after?
You are not going to be depressed like Sound of Freedom was. The kids, the plight of the kids in the foster system are kind of brought up in the beginning. It's not as horrific as Sound of Freedom, but this movie is this movie of hope. And, a foster care system that needs parents to come in. And I think that's what this movie's about, is to encourage families to consider going and taking care of foster children.
Would you describe this movie as life affirming?
Yes.
Okay.
And very religious. There's a religious aspect to it, as you'd expect from Angel Studios.
Yeah. Would you recommend the film?
I would absolutely recommend it. I think, it's that thing of, if you want some positivity in your life, definitely go see this movie. If you like your films a lot more dark, you're probably not going to be into it.
All right. Okay. Well, it's you, and I trust you, so I trust your recommation.
Yeah.
Let's go to a couple.
Like when we were telling people go see Sound of Freedom because it's important, blah blah blah. I didn't necessarily walk away with that feeling of you have to see this movie.
Right.
It's just a movie of positivity, which is something we need.